When we talk about pushing through pain, most people immediately think of the physical body, muscles burning in a workout, exhaustion setting in after long hours of work, or the sharp sting of failure. But the truth is, the body will only do what the mind allows. The real battle always begins in your head. Every morning when you wake up, before your feet even touch the ground, your mind starts negotiating with you. It whispers excuses, it reminds you of yesterday's struggles, and it tries to convince you to stay comfortable. This is why training your mind before your body is not just important, it's essential. The mind is the command center, and if it collapses, everything else follows. Training your mind is not a one-time decision, it is a daily practice. You have to decide every single day who is going to be in charge, your doubts or your determination. If you want to grow, if you want to endure, if you want to live beyond average, you must build a mental environment that supports strength. That means feeding your mind with ideas that expand you instead of shrink you. It means practicing the discipline of awareness so you catch negative thoughts before they take root. The brain is like a muscle, it strengthens when you challenge it, and it weakens when you let it run wild without direction. This is why affirmations, visualization, and focus are not just motivational concepts. They are neurological training tools. When you repeatedly affirm that you are capable, resilient, and unstoppable, you are wiring your brain to believe it. When you visualize yourself completing the task, pushing through the obstacle, or enduring the discomfort, you are priming your nervous system to respond as though it's already possible. Focus is the bridge between what you imagine and what you create, and focus must be exercised like a skill. The more you focus on growth, the less attention pain can steal from you. There's something powerful about understanding that your thoughts are not random, they are choices. You may not control the first thought that flashes into your mind, but you absolutely control the second one and every one after that. That means you can redirect the inner conversation. When your mind says, "I can't go further," you can respond with, "I am stronger than I think." When it says, "This hurts too much," you can counter with, "This pain is building my future." That inner dialogue is the difference between quitting and conquering. Think of your mind as the thermostat of your life. It sets the conditions for what you will tolerate and what you will pursue. If the thermostat is set low, on comfort, safety, and ease, you will never endure enough to achieve anything great. But if you set it high, on resilience, persistence, and growth, your body will adapt to meet that standard. Training your mind every day raises the setting, and soon what once felt unbearable becomes your new normal. Every champion, every innovator, every person who achieved greatness first won the battle in their mind before they saw the results in reality. They understood that physical limits are often mental limits in disguise. When the body wants to quit, the mind must step in and command it to keep moving. When fear tries to paralyze you, the mind must override it with vision. When pain says stop, the mind must translate it as progress. This is why your mornings are so important. The way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up and immediately allow your mind to drift into worry, comparison, or doubt, you're already on the defensive. But if you train it, if you speak strength into it, if you focus it on your goals, if you remind yourself of your purpose, you've already won half the battle before the day even begins. Training your mind before your body is about creating a mental foundation so solid that nothing shakes you. It's about building resilience before resistance appears. Pain will always show up. It's a constant companion of growth. But when your mind is conditioned, pain loses its power to intimidate you. Instead of being an enemy, it becomes a signal that you are moving in the right direction. The body follows the mind, and the mind follows your decisions. So, decide daily to master it. Decide to train it. Decide that nothing, no thought, no excuse, no moment of pain will dictate your destiny. Discomfort is not something to run from, it is something to run toward. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding it, creating routines and habits designed to keep them safe, comfortable, and unchallenged. But if you study anyone who has achieved real breakthroughs in their life, you will discover they share a common truth. They embrace discomfort as the very soil where growth happens. Pain, difficulty, and obstacles are not barriers to progress. They are the gateway. The path to becoming stronger is paved with moments that stretch you beyond what feels good, and if you avoid those moments, you avoid the transformation that was waiting for you on the other side. Discomfort is the language of growth. Muscles grow because they are torn down and forced to rebuild. Confidence grows because you put yourself in situations that scare you and you learn you can survive them. Wisdom grows because you endure setbacks and carry the lessons forward. Every ounce of progress has a cost, and that cost is discomfort. But when you learn to reinterpret it, it ceases to be punishment and becomes confirmation. You are evolving. When you step into pain with the perspective that it is shaping you, suddenly it loses its sting. You no longer see it as an enemy. You see it as your greatest teacher. We live in a world that sells comfort as the ultimate prize. Every ad, every product, every short cut whispers the same message. Take the easy way, avoid the struggle, and stay in the soft spot where nothing hurts. But comfort zones are invisible cages. They trap you not because they are locked, but because they convince you there is no reason to leave. Yet, deep down, you know the truth. Comfort zones are where dreams die. Nothing extraordinary has ever been created in a place of ease. The discomfort you resist holds the very growth you're searching for. Think about the times in your life when you grew the most. They were never the moments when everything went smoothly. They were the seasons of struggle, the nights of doubt, the days you felt like giving up but didn't. Those are the times that shaped your character. Those are the moments you carry with you, because they made you who you are. The same principle applies every day. If you want to grow daily, you must willingly seek out discomfort. Choose the harder path, challenge your body, push your mind, step into conversations you fear, take the risks that stretch you, and commit to the work that demands everything from you. That is where your strength is hiding. The irony is that the more you resist discomfort, the more it controls you. Fear of pain magnifies the pain. Avoidance makes the obstacle seem bigger than it really is. But the moment you lean into it, you realize it doesn't destroy you. It develops you. The resistance you feel today is building the resilience you'll need tomorrow. Every time you embrace the uncomfortable, you expand your capacity. Soon, what used to terrify you becomes ordinary. What used to hurt becomes bearable. What used to seem impossible becomes a new standard. Your nervous system, your brain, your body are designed to adapt. Stress, pressure, and discomfort are signals that adaptation is happening. If you never put yourself in those conditions, you rob yourself of the chance to expand. That's why the people who look like they were born strong, confident, or unshakable aren't that way by chance. They are that way because they stepped into the fire again and again until it no longer burned them. It refined them. Embracing discomfort doesn't mean you love pain for the sake of pain. It means you love growth so much you're willing to endure whatever it takes to reach it. It means you stop negotiating with your excuses. It means you stop waiting for the perfect conditions because you understand that struggle itself is the condition for success. The only way forward is through. So if you feel discomfort today, if you feel stretched, tired, uncertain, or even afraid, don't interpret that as a sign to stop. Interpret it as proof you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Pain is progress in disguise. Discomfort is the evidence that you are breaking through the old version of yourself. The question is not whether it will hurt, but whether you are willing to see the hurt as a stepping stone to your highest self. The truth is simple. If you want growth, embrace discomfort, because that is where your transformation lives. Motivation is a spark. It feels exciting, it lifts your energy, and it makes the path ahead look easier. But like every spark, it burns out quickly if there's no fuel to sustain it. This is why so many people start strong but fail to finish. They wait for motivation to push them, and when it doesn't show up, they stop. The truth is, you cannot build anything lasting on motivation alone. Discipline is what takes over when motivation fades, and discipline is what carries you across the finish line. Discipline is not glamorous, it is not loud, and it often doesn't feel good. But it is the most powerful force you can cultivate if you want to push through pain and achieve the life you envision. Discipline means you do the thing regardless of how you feel. It means that when your emotions scream for comfort, your actions stay aligned with your commitments. Think about it. If you only work when you feel like it, you will never see the results you want. Feelings are fleeting. They shift with the weather, with sleep, with circumstances. Discipline doesn't care about feelings. It's built on decisions and habits. It's the quiet voice inside that says, I promised myself, and I will follow through, even when no one else is watching. The most successful people in every field aren't the ones who are constantly motivated. They are the ones who are ruthlessly disciplined. They show up whether it's convenient or not. They do the work on the days it excites them, and more importantly, they do it on the days it doesn't. They understand that discipline is freedom. It frees you from being controlled by moods and excuses. It frees you from inconsistency and from the disappointment of giving up too early. Discipline builds a foundation of trust within yourself. When you say you'll do something and you follow through, you start to believe in your own word. That self-trust compounds and it becomes unstoppable momentum. The problem with relying on motivation is that it comes from outside. You hear a powerful speech, you see someone else succeed, you feel inspired by a book or a video. That's good, but it fades. Discipline comes from within. It's internalized. It doesn't depend on inspiration. It depends on identity. You tell yourself, this is who I am. I am someone who follows through. I am someone who doesn't quit. I am someone who honors my commitments. When you build discipline around that identity, you no longer need a burst of motivation to keep going. You operate from who you are, not how you feel. Every day is a test. When the alarm rings in the morning, when the workout feels too heavy, when the work project feels overwhelming, when the pain feels unbearable, that's the test. The easy road says, skip it today, you'll try again tomorrow. But the disciplined path says, do it now, because tomorrow is built on today. The choice you make in those moments is shaping your entire future. If you give in to weakness once, it becomes easier the next time. If you hold your ground once, it becomes strength the next time. Discipline compounds just like interest. It grows every time you practice it. Pain plays a crucial role here. Pain exposes your level of discipline. When things are easy, discipline isn't tested. But when things hurt, when they stretch you, when they demand sacrifice, that's when discipline is either built or broken. If you train yourself to stay steady in pain, you develop a mental and emotional toughness that will outlast any storm. Pain doesn't destroy disciplined people, it forges them. This is why you must work on discipline every single day. It is not built in a single decision. It is built in repeated decisions. You don't become disciplined because you did it once. You become disciplined because you did it again and again until it became part of you. Motivation may get you started, but only discipline will keep you moving when the initial excitement disappears. The people who rise above average are not those who wait for the right feeling, but those who act consistently in spite of feelings. Pain will tempt you to quit. Motivation may abandon you when you need it most. But discipline will stand by you, discipline will carry you, and discipline will make you unstoppable. The conversations you have with yourself are the most important conversations you will ever engage in. You cannot escape them. From the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, your mind is speaking to you, shaping your choices, your emotions, and your actions. The problem is that most people never learn to master their inner dialogue. They let old doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs run unchecked, as if the voice inside their head were a truth teller instead of a product of habit and conditioning. But here's the truth. The words you speak to yourself are more powerful than the words anyone else speaks to you. They determine whether you push through pain or give in to it. Your inner dialogue can either be your greatest ally or your most destructive enemy. When it's filled with doubt, it magnifies every challenge. Pain feels heavier, obstacles look taller, and failure feels inevitable. But when your self-talk is trained, it fuels resilience. It reframes pain as progress, obstacles as opportunities, and failure as feedback. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending life is easy. It's about deliberately choosing words that empower instead of words that weaken. The brain responds to language. Neuroscience has shown that the way we phrase our thoughts impacts how our body reacts. Say, I can't handle this, and your nervous system shuts down. Say, I will find a way through this, and your body mobilizes energy to rise to the challenge. This is why it is not enough to just think positive. You must train your inner dialogue like you train a muscle. It needs repetition, awareness, and correction. Every time you catch yourself saying, "I can't," you must redirect to, "How can I?" Every time you hear, "This hurts too much," you replace it with, "This pain is building my strength." Over time, this practice rewires the way you respond under pressure. Instead of spiraling into discouragement, you rise into determination. Instead of quitting at the first sign of pain, you see it as a signal to keep pressing forward. Think about the most resilient people you know. It's not that they never feel fear or pain. It's that they refuse to let those emotions dictate the conversation in their minds. They don't silence the negative voice. They override it with a stronger one. Their inner dialogue speaks of perseverance, vision, and identity. They say, "I am capable, I am resilient, I am built for this." That identity-driven language strengthens them when the pain threatens to weaken them. You may not realize it, but you are always affirming something with your self-talk. You are either affirming your limitations or affirming your potential. The problem is, most people unconsciously affirm limitations all day long. "I'm tired. I can't do this. I'll never change. This is too much." If you repeat those enough times, your brain begins to believe them, and your actions align with them. But if you consciously choose to affirm strength, resilience, and progress, your brain believes that too. Your nervous system gets the signal that you're in control, and your body responds accordingly. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is shaped by dialogue. Two people can go through the same hardship, yet one grows stronger while the other breaks. The difference lies in how they speak to themselves about what they're experiencing. The person who says, "This is the end of me," is defeated. The person who says, "This is shaping me," is transformed. The dialogue changes the meaning, and meaning changes the outcome. So you must work daily to master your inner dialogue. Start the morning by speaking words that set the tone for strength. "I will not quit. I will grow. I will endure." Throughout the day, guard your thoughts like a gatekeeper. Don't let destructive language slip by unnoticed. Correct it, redirect it, and replace it with words that fuel you. At night, review your progress and remind yourself of the victories, no matter how small. This practice builds momentum, and soon your inner dialogue becomes a source of unstoppable power. When pain comes, and it will, you will already have trained your mind to respond with strength. The voice in your head will no longer sabotage you, it will carry you. Master your inner dialogue, and you master your ability to push through anything. Consistency is the invisible force behind every breakthrough you will ever experience. It is not the giant leaps that transform your life, but the small, steady steps you take every single day. Most people overestimate the power of an occasional burst of effort and underestimate the power of daily discipline. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect wave of motivation, and in doing so, they stall their progress. But those who understand the principle of consistency don't wait. They act again and again, even when it feels repetitive, even when it feels slow, even when the results are not immediate. Breakthroughs are not random. They are the inevitable reward of accumulated effort. Just as drops of water eventually carve through stone, your repeated actions carve through resistance, doubt, and pain. You don't see the impact right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Consistency works in the background, stacking small victories until suddenly there's a visible shift. That overnight success you admire in others is almost always the product of years of consistent work that nobody saw. Pain feels lighter when you realize it is not wasted. It is being deposited daily into the account of your future breakthrough. The challenge with consistency is that it is not exciting. It often feels boring, tedious, or even pointless in the moment. Doing the same workout day after day, practicing the same skill, writing the same goals, showing up to the same routine. Your mind will try to convince you it's not working, but this is where trust comes in. Trust the process. Trust that the repetition is shaping you. Trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is building a foundation so strong that when the breakthrough comes, it has something solid to stand on. Pain tests your consistency. Anyone can be consistent when it feels easy, when the mood is right, and when progress is obvious, but true consistency is forged in difficulty. It's in the days when your body aches, your mind is tired, and your results seem invisible. That's when consistency matters most. If you can hold steady through those seasons, nothing can stop you. Because while everyone else is quitting when it hurts, you're still moving. Even if you're moving slowly, you're still moving forward, and that's what creates separation between those who wish for success and those who achieve it. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you keep your word to yourself, you strengthen your belief in your ability to endure. You prove to yourself that you are reliable, that you can be counted on, that you are not controlled by fleeting emotions. That self-trust compounds over time, and soon you begin to operate with certainty instead of hesitation. You stop questioning whether you'll make it because you know you will. Not because the path is easy, but because you are consistent, and consistency always produces results. Think of consistency as momentum. At first, pushing the wheel feels heavy. Progress feels painfully slow. But with each push, the wheel begins to turn a little faster, a little smoother, until eventually it rolls with a force of its own. That's how breakthroughs happen. It's not one big push. It's 1,000 small pushes compounded into unstoppable momentum. Your job is not to wonder when the breakthrough will come. Your job is to stay consistent until it does. Every day you have a choice. Give in to the temptation of ease or commit to the discipline of consistency. One path keeps you stuck. The other path carries you forward, even through pain. If you want to push through, you can't rely on intensity alone. You must rely on the quiet, relentless power of consistency. Breakthroughs don't belong to the most talented, the most motivated, or even the most skilled. They belong to the ones who refuse to stop showing up. Pain has a way of grabbing our attention. It interrupts our rhythm, it forces us to pause, and it demands that we listen. Most people interpret that signal the wrong way. They see pain as a stop sign, a reason to retreat, an indicator that something has gone wrong. But the truth is, pain is not telling you to quit, it's telling you to pay attention. Pain is a messenger. It is feedback from your body, your mind, or your spirit that growth is happening, change is being demanded, and something inside you is being reshaped. If you run from it, you miss the lesson. If you embrace it, you transform through it. Think of every significant achievement in life, physical, emotional, or mental. It is always accompanied by some level of pain. The athlete who pushes through the final repetitions feels the burn in every muscle. The entrepreneur who builds something from nothing endures the sleepless nights, the failures, and the setbacks. The person who chooses to change old habits fights through discomfort, cravings, and resistance. In every case, pain is present, not because you are failing, but because you are stretching into something greater. If you could grow without pain, you would. But nature doesn't work that way. Growth demands sacrifice, and sacrifice demands discomfort. When you view pain as a stop sign, you give it the power to defeat you. You allow it to dictate your limits. The moment it arrives, you shrink back into safety. But when you reframe it as a signal, you begin to ask new questions. What is this pain teaching me? What is it strengthening in me? What part of me needs to be refined through this? Pain becomes less of an enemy and more of a guide. It points you to the areas where transformation is most needed. It reveals weaknesses, not to shame you, but to show you where to build strength. The truth is, pain sharpens focus. It cuts through distractions. It forces you to confront what truly matters. When everything is comfortable, it is easy to drift, to become complacent, to waste time. But when pain shows up, it demands that you decide. Are you committed or are you casual? Are you willing to endure or will you surrender? This decision, made in the heat of discomfort, defines your character more than anything else. Every time you choose to push forward despite the pain, you reinforce resilience. You prove to yourself that you can endure more than you thought possible. There is also a hidden gift in pain. It builds empathy and depth. Those who have suffered, those who have endured, those who have fought through pain carry a strength that is not just physical but emotional and spiritual. They understand struggle. They understand perseverance. They develop compassion for others walking through their own trials. In this way, pain not only refines you for your own journey, but equips you to help others on theirs. When you feel pain, don't rush to escape it. Breathe into it, listen to it, ask what it is signaling. Sometimes it tells you to adjust your strategy. Sometimes it tells you to rest and rebuild. And sometimes it tells you that you are exactly where you need to be, at the edge of your current capacity, about to expand into more. The difference between those who quit and those who grow is how they interpret that message. Pushing through pain does not mean ignoring it or pretending it doesn't exist. It means respecting it as part of the process, but refusing to let it stop you. Pain is inevitable, but quitting is optional. If you choose to see pain as a signal, you will never again confuse it with failure. You will see it as proof that you are alive, proof that you are growing, proof that you are moving forward. And when you reach the other side of it, you will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the challenges ahead. Pain is not the end of the road. It is a sign that you are still on the road, moving towards something greater.